Alright, dudes. Let's talk AION 2. There was a dev stream today from both the Korean devs and the Taiwanese publisher, or like the Taiwanese side of the company. They did basically showcase the same things. You can see some gameplay from the Chanter class. It existed in AION in the first game. This is like a hybrid. It's like a healer, the healer in the game, but it can also do damage at the same time. So it's kind of like a hybrid class. Among other things that they talked about, and this is serious, that's why I'm not going to dive deep into anything they showcased in terms of gameplay or like, you know, the pet system and the combat, which is awesome, by the way, don't get me wrong. But the real reason about this video, and please stick with me, is they talked about the monetization model. All right, they talked about the business model, and bad news, boys. There's no easy way to put this, but these guys are a little bit out of their mind, because they're going to be monetizing the in-game gold currency of the game, which is called Kina. But they also have like a paid currency, which is called Quina or something. It's like a little different. But it's pretty much the same thing as in Lost Ark, where you turn gold into you know, the paid currency, and then you can use that on the auction house to buy things with. The thing is, that would be tolerable if it was just that. However, the game is supposed to be free to play, but it does have a premium subscription. The issue becomes when they announced today that there's going to be 2 premium subscriptions and a battle pass on top of the monetized gold in the game. If you guys can't see why that is a problem, I'm gonna try to break it down for you, because I'm also trying to fully understand it, and I hope I'm right on how I've understood it so far. So basically, you can play the game for free if you want. However, it will have, you know, a limit you're gonna reach, where you're gonna benefit if you get the premium sub. So that's gonna allow you to go into a little bit more dungeons every day, you know, a little convenience here and there. We don't know the full details yet. However, we know that they said today there's gonna be 2 different ones, and you can get both of them if you want. So there's a $20 one, and there's a $30 one, and that is the currency converted to the Korean value, right? And that's gonna stay the same in Europe and the US, so that's going to be €20 and €30 for those. And you're going to have a battle pass on top of that, which we don't know the price of or the benefits. I assume it's going to have some kind of benefits, right? And like I said earlier, on top of all this, they also have the monetized currency in the game. The auction house is going to operate with gold, so anything you want, you're going to have to buy it with gold. And you can essentially buy the paid currency, convert it to gold, and purchase things off of the auction house. Is how I understand. How, you know, if I'm understanding correctly, that's how it's gonna work. And you can probably quickly see where the pay to win comes in that. People are gonna be purchasing gold here and there. We all know, you know, the infamous websites. You can go and get anything you want, right? So that's bad, and we should really get the word out. So that the excuse me, so that the NC America, the guys that are going to be publishing the game to the West, I assume in Europe too, I'm not sure about that as well. That's the thing I just thought about. Little sidetrack there, but we should make it, you know, known that we don't want that, right? Either make the game have a like $15 sub every month and skip all this, or keep it free to play with the monetized gold and make your money that way as a company to keep the servers up. Because having all this is way too much. Like, they're probably going to be asking people for like $70 a month, right? And that's a little bit absurd. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. Now, if you're working and you're making enough and you got all your bills paid and everything, you got some money on the side, you're fine, right? $50-$70 here and there, it's not going to break the bank. However, you know, paying for entertainment and all that. However, the average MMO player doesn't have that. they want to pay maybe a premium sub that they're used to, you know, with their World of Warcraft or like EVE Online, you know, and all those kinds of games that have a premium or like a monthly sub, and then maybe a premium one in some other games like Throne, right? You can get the blessing, you can get the Da Vinci pass every month, every 28 days, because of course if you lose 2 days every month at the end of the year, you're paying for 13 months instead of 12, but that's a whole different discussion. But the point of this video is, please make it known to these guys that we don't want this to the West, right? This is an absurd monetization model, and I don't know if they announced this to kind of like test the waters or not, but this is absurd, and it's a lot of money for a video game that we don't know how long they're gonna support it, or if it's actually gonna be good or fun to play. You know, it might have massive desync and the PvP might suck, so who knows, maybe the PvE is really bad or lackluster, you know. We don't know. We don't know very much about it. They showed a little bit of gameplay here and there in these live streams, but we don't know much about it. So there you have it. I'm not gonna go, like I said, I'm not gonna go into any other details of what they showed. They showed a little bit of like skill upgrades and like how you go into dungeons and, you know, all that kind of thing. They showed actually some mini games too that I'm skipping completely for this video. I'm not even gonna show them in the footage you see on your screen right now. They showed like a little bit of flying. They talked a little bit about PvP points and all that, but all that is just overshadowed by this big elephant in the room, which is the monetization model. So I really hope NC America somehow bumps into this video or into any of you guys' comments, if you leave comments anywhere, or like if you talk about it online. I really hope they take notice and they figure out a way to bring this game to the West without this egregious monetization model, because frankly it's just gonna fail. People don't have that kind of money to pay for an MMO every month. Maybe once if it was like a box price or something, but every month, that's a big ask from a lot of players. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one, and I hope you guys enjoy your games.